Yo, okay. What's up, man? So, it's your boy Tony Concept. This is Life is Art. And I'm here in a new setup right now, man. I just finally got this done. You guys do not realize how difficult it was to get this thing together, you know what I'm saying? But I finally got it together, and yeah, man, we gonna do some illustration tonight. I'm gonna do my first Procreate tutorial tonight. I'm gonna just take you guys through my steps, man. You know, this whole mission started, my Instagram got disabled. I was doing a ton of AI work, and Instagram flagged me and said that the work I was doing was counterfeit goods on my page, is what they said, man. So, you know, instead of crying over spilled milk, I decided to pivot. And with this pivot, you know, it's all about receiving game and giving game, right? A lot of the stuff that I look at and I admire is, you know, when people express and share how they create their work, you know, what inspires them, how they go through their processes. To me, that's giving some game. And now I'm going to give you guys some game, because you'll be able to start illustrating and Procreate and put it straight to work. You know, I'll just take you through, I guess, what I call my cheat code, man. This is just an easy way to put a line drawing down, create a couple layers, and I'll take you through the steps that I generally use. Today, man, I think I was looking at a couple of references here, and I've been listening to the new Conway, man. I've been killing it, you know, the new Conway, one of the dopest MCs in the game right now, I think, holding it. And I grabbed a couple of references, and I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to use. This one is really dope. I look for references because that are really clean, you know, because in this instance, we're just gonna draw right over these. I got a dope African mask there too, but man, I know like the color in this is gonna be fly. So let's pull this one up, man. I'm gonna add insert photo. I'm gonna grab that because I already sent it to myself, but you can just airdrop that from me if you're on the computer, or pull something up on the iPad. You know, so I'm gonna blow this up kind of as big as I can get it. I think let's go somewhere around here. I think with this composition, we're gonna trace over this image, which is gonna make it a lot easier for you to do something quickly and pretty accurate. I mean, of course, if you want to get more stylized, you're gonna want to draw this, you know, from reference and take your time there. But for the sake of time, we'll just do an image trace over this. What I like to do is I think to go up here and break these down to about 60%, you know, good enough so I can see it, but I want to see my line, right? So then I'm going to add a new layer, and I generally do all of my starting drawings with the 6B pencil. I don't make any modifications or change it. Of course, over here you're gonna adjust. This will give you your sizing. Let's just look at how big our line is. That one is too small, so that one, you know what, the 6B, this is really large canvas, so that's 6B. I'm gonna keep that, push that kind of all the way up there. Let's see. Yeah, I think all the way up there is actually good. So when I start to trace, man, I try to use the side of my pencil as much as possible, because that way I don't have as many super hard lines. I'm not gonna go crazy as far as like accuracy. I just want to shade in the dark areas. And when tracing, you know when it's like a comic book or something like that, right? I don't really like that first line I got on the nose, so I'm gonna go back and start again. You want to just like keep the softest line possible, because in that way it's gonna blend itself a lot better, you know, when when you're getting to some of the harder lines. So instead of putting a hard line around that nose right there, I'm just gonna kind of do a softer line right there. Like, you know, we might not really need to see a hard line there, but going in, you know, we're gonna keep this pretty sketchy, right? So I'm just gonna kind of sketch around. Of course, you know, you can zoom in and get tight on some of some of your areas, like this nice hard line on the glasses. I want to get close there. All right. So this is pretty dark. I work dark to light, right? So we're gonna go dark first and get the darkest areas, and kind of, you don't have to even draw a line on those glasses. You dig? You could just leave that open. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna leave that open. I got a little messy here, but I try to clean it up. And in the interior of the glasses, you know, we could always go and throw another layer, but I'm just drawing what I see here, right? So what I see is this is a kind of dark area all the way up. I'm gonna ombre my strokes there, make them a little lighter at the top, and we can get it all the way in there. Boom. I'm looking for like little, see, I like this little area right here. It's kind of like a little light area, so I'm not gonna mess with that. I'm gonna hit my eraser up real quick. Let me see what I got my eraser on. Sometimes I'll put my eraser on something pretty solid, like this that Untitled brush I got there. It's kind of, it'll give me just enough. Yeah, so my eraser, I'm good. And let's see, back to some shading. I'm hoping you guys are able to see this pretty good, man. You know, I got to do some adjustments with the lighting up in here, and I got to work on trying to dial everything in. But with this being my first one, man, this is going to be a good test to see how well, and you guys can let me know, your thoughts on what I need to do to make this process right. The whole thing is, for you to see my process, you dig, and help me get better, and I can do the same. I can kind of help you get better with using some of the techniques I use. So here, I'm seeing some dark, but I'm kind of improvising a little bit. I just want to give a nice soft feel to every area that I see that is black, right? In the lips, there's even a little bit of information right there. You can catch some light, some darks, man, But Conway the Machine, man, like, this dude, this is one of the guys that, it's a true testament to, staying focused and staying on your path, right? This is a cat that gets shot in the dome piece, man. You get hit in the head, but he was already rapping, He got videos of himself rapping, all put together, promising future and all of that. And the next thing you know, man, he gets popped in the dome. So what does he decide to do? Does he decide to quit? Nah, he gets out of the hospital, does the Kanye West through the wire, you feel me? And is, just goes right back to rhyming, man. Goes right back to doing what he does best, you know what I'm saying? And it gives him that drive that he needs to move his career further, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you get hit with adversity, or you get hit with something, and it's like, man, what I'm gonna do, But the main thing is, you can't fold, right? And that was his story. He didn't fold, man. In adversity, when he got hit in the head, the Most High said he was gonna live, and now look at him, man, on the top of his game, traveling to Paris, traveling across the country, you know what I'm saying? Spitting rhymes for people, man, just sticking to the script, So that's why I decided to put him down on illustration today, man. Those type of things really motivate me, man, when times get tough or when I don't think something's gonna work out. There's certain artists and there's certain individuals that have this relentless spirit to them, you know what I'm saying? That's like, I'm not about to give up on this, you dig? So still, man, this is really dope, right? If you see here, I'm gonna use kind of this this red and this outline to my advantage. I'm not even gonna go over that. We want to see that, right? You know what I mean? We want to see how that comes out with our underdrawing, our image still being there. And again, I'm just going around and I'm finding those dark areas, and I'm just hitting them up. But you see in the original drawing, man, the red in this is so fire. We're gonna use that to our advantage. So that's gonna be a surprise reveal, you know what I mean? A little later down the line, but I want to get the outline so I can see. I can't get the top of the hat. I'm gonna improvise that, right? We're just gonna kind of give some quick feel lines. You wanna, when you're doing this, you know, like see a little line like that, something that goes off to the edge, you wanna, like, you know, really be loose with it, you know what I mean? Like tracing something. I had an art teacher one time, man. She said she didn't like photoreal artwork, you know. She was just like, she didn't really like shout out to Mrs. Carr. She kicked me and my boy Tyrone out of the class mad times, you know what I'm saying? So it's not a comeback, but it's another story. But yeah, she said that you if you want to just draw a photo real, man, take a photo. And I kind of always ran with that, like, you know, this is a piece of art. If I want to trace it or try to get my image down using the original photo, I don't want to copy it verbatim because the picture is dope. Just look at the picture. So if we're giving it some art, you know, we gotta give it a vibe. So use some loose lines, man. Mess around with your lines and try to make them as free as you can. You see right now I'm drawing really high on my Apple pencil. That's gonna allow me to be pretty loose. I'm gonna cross hatch some of this. Like, I'm gonna take the shadows or lines and I'm gonna go a couple different directions just to give it a little different vibe. It may or may not look dope, but we'll see how it looks, right? I want it to look like it's straight out the sketchbook though, you know? You know, in the sketchbook you got some mistakes in there. So this is looking good so far. I'm gonna, you know, for the sake of time, I'm gonna do some hard lines on this ice right here, get all in the middle there. You know, just want to get some of these areas that are black as they can. We're gonna go from our darkest dark to our lightest light without shading. Always trying to do that. I accidentally hit my eraser there. So as you can see, we're starting to get a pretty decent underdrawing. I might not go too crazy and do the whole thing. Some of these darker areas here, you know. And the dope part about doing jewelry and stuff like that that's really bright is you can get in with your dark lines and give that you know, your trace or your outline, you know, you can give them that real stark graphic looking feel. I think that's how I like to call it. And then you go back to that soft shading, you know what I mean, like around it. You want to get that in here. So I think I'm gonna fill this area in with another kind of cross hatch kind of line, like you could almost see under it. I think it's cool, you know. And the outline the rest of this jewelry, man, you know, I wonder, you know what I'm saying? Like I had a couple pieces of jewelry in my day, you feel me? But I ain't had none of this chunky, man. You know, I'm wondering. I think Conway had a bar. He was like, "Yeah, my neck hurting from the piece of the chain or something like that." I'm like, man, do I want them problems, man? Yeah, probably. You know. So we gonna get the ice right on this right here. I like kind of some loose lines. Maybe I'm gonna just kind of scribble these lines to come off and get that outline around this. I like the way kind of this collar pops here, so I'm just gonna make my kind of a cartoony line right there, give it some vibes. And I'm gonna come all the way down, man, because I think this chain really makes the jewelry, really makes this image. You know, he's very proud holding it up, you know what I'm saying, representing, kind of showing you, man, it took a lot of work to get this, you know. That's another cool thing, man, just on some culture type time, man. You know, when I was a youngster, you know, having a chain in New Orleans, Louisiana, man, having a chain, you know, there's a lot of gangsters in New Orleans, man. And if you had a chain, and, you know, at the time, man, when I was like a youngin', man, the Michael Jordans was a craze. Not like, you know, today where they just, you know, drop them on a re-release and all of that. So you couldn't wear your Jordans to certain neighborhoods or you get cooked for them. So I remember, you know, not being able to rock the starter jacket by my auntie house, you know what I'm saying, around there. Shout out to my cousin Ty, Tito and them. But yeah, man, you know, walk to the corner store, you had to take that off. So if you had a chain back in the day, you know, you really was that guy, you know what I'm saying? You could walk around and wear your jewels like that. You know, you was a little different, you know. People, you know, you had to be kind of something fierce to do that. So it's cool to see in the culture now, man. The chain still holds weight, you know. I know it's not always about the material things, but the iconography of it, the whole idea around, you know, a man in this chain is something to be studied, you know, for real. It's a way, a rite of passage to certain levels of success, right? And the pharaohs and the Egyptians, man, it was super iced out, you know. So come on, man, King Tut, you know, all that with they getting buried with their pieces on, you know. So you already know what type time they was on, man, right? So it's kind of good to see brothers, you know, get theirs, man, and be able to adorn themselves as kings in this game. You know, life is pretty hard, so I salute cats that get the ornamentation they need to feel that achievement. You know, some people knock it, but hey, that's what it is. We're not gonna go into the medallion. I think we got pretty much a lot of good stuff here. You kind of can see what I have there. So immediately, what I like to do, right? Immediately, what I like to do is I like to, you know, go in with the white, you know. So put the black down, we're gonna create another layer. I'm gonna take this layer, I'm gonna drop it underneath, and we're gonna go to our whitest white, right? I'm gonna still keep that 6B pencil because I wanna get some smaller areas here, and I want to you know, make sure these areas pop. I'm not gonna hit everything on the glasses because I'm gonna go with a lighter kind of white color. I want to kind of give it some highlights. I'm gonna zoom in so you can see that a little bit better, but we just hitting some highlights up of the kind of some of those bigger areas. I'm gonna actually just do them right now. I'm gonna create another layer. I'm gonna put that layer underneath, and I'm gonna do the glasses. I'm gonna put a little kind of like but it's not white, kind of off-white, right? So it gives the appearance that we got some highlights in those glasses there, even though they're white. You know, they still got a shine to them, you dig? So boom, we got that. I'm gonna go back to my white layer because I want all of my white to be on one layer for sure, just in case I gotta adjust anything, brightness, contour, contrast, or whatever. And I'm just starting to hit a couple areas, man. This is the fun part right here, you know, when you can kind of start seeing it kind of come to life. He's got some type of logo on his hat, you know, let's stay true to the game. I might even like hit that with a CON real quick, some little graph there, you know what I'm saying? Get that off, and let's see what we got. Like, this is where it's fun doing the jewelry, man. So we come in and we just kind of start hitting the jewelry in spaces, like almost thinking like, where would it be shining, how would it be hitting, you know? So giving it some lines. I see it's like just kind of doing some squiggly lines to make it appear like got some studs or stones, you dig, leaving some open space. Because remember, you know, you leave that open space, you can come behind it with another color. My whole thing is just doing these layers, like, you know, getting behind things and on top of things, pause, you know what I'm saying, and just, you know, putting things, sprinkling them all in different places, you know. So let's see here. Now that we got, you know, some initial white going, I'm gonna get the fingertips, get those fingertips in there, get some of that, it's got a ring on. I'm gonna run some white here, you know, and I'm liking what I have. So this is when it starts to get a little bit more detail. We're gonna hit that next layer. We're gonna keep our black layer at the top always. A lot of times, you know, I'll take this black layer and I'll duplicate it. So boom, let's duplicate it. Now you got a little darker, you can kind of see things better, right? So I'm gonna I think I'm gonna work under my white again. I'm gonna actually work over that little layer around the glasses, and now I'm gonna start pulling some of these colors in the background. So we got this pink. I'm gonna go to one of my favorite brushes, that oil pastel brush. You can kind of see how big you got and big you have it. I'm gonna make this larger, kind of so it fills the whole area. And this is kind of like a base kind of pink. You see it already filled in the glass. I'm gonna go behind some of the jewelry. I'm gonna hit the hand. This is like, you know, this is a big circle. You see here, if you can kind of see there, it's a pretty big circle. So now I'm gonna grab a brighter, maybe I'm gonna go to the top of his hat to get a brighter pink. And I'm gonna go to a brush that I love to work over that artistic crayon brush. I'm gonna work the artistic crayon brush on top of what I just had with a brighter color. You can kind of see it's gonna start popping through. So in these areas where, you know, we have some of that bright red around the edge of the hat, you know, around the brim of the hat, right here, you know, it's kind of coming in there. I don't want to go too crazy, you know, but I'm gonna throw a little bit on this chain. I see a couple spots where it's bright in the hands here. And let's see, I'm gonna pull this light pink and I'm gonna put this behind that layer in the hat. I'm gonna grab this, let me see what that looks like. Let's go behind the letters. Actually, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna take that from behind the letters. I want to let some of that white through. Yeah, that was a little too bright for the face, but maybe I'm gonna use it here on the edge of the mouth. And let's grab this. It's kind of an orange type of light pink. I'm gonna make my brush a little bit bigger. See where we can come in with a little bit of light. It's kind of orangey. I still want to keep that dark. I'm trying to hit a couple of orange spots, like right there is really good. And as you can see, man, we just kind of sprinkling stuff in here. I'm gonna take the pink from here. I want to fill in the rest of the hat. You know what? I want to get my 6B pencil because I really want to get a solid look right here on the top of this hat. Fill that in without, you know. And see, because it's under the layer, I'm not messing up with that white that I put there. I'm drawing under that right now, right? So we need to get it darker. Let's get it darker. I'm going on top of that all of my layers of pink with a new layer. Let's see here. Oh man, you know what? I got a limited amount of layers on here because I made a cardinal mistake, and that mistake was I did not set my extended layers here, unlimited layers here, because I think I'm working a little too big, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go to the layer on top of the pink, and I'm gonna find that dark, start putting some of that in. Let's put some of that in on the hat. I have the 6B. I'm gonna switch back to the artistic crayon and drop that in. So we're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep this kind of on these limited layers, so I'm gonna work over and under using the layers that I have right now. I don't want to cover up all of that light areas that I had, so I'm gonna keep that there. Let's go into the shades, and this is kind of a skin tone that I pulled. And see, even when I go in, this is more like a gray here on his lips. I'm gonna just cover all that in, a couple of those gray spots, and I need to go a little darker. So now I'm actually on the fly. I'm just grabbing. If you hold down with your finger, right, the Procreate is gonna select the color that you hold down. So if I hold my finger down here, it's gonna select that color here. I'm gonna select that color here, and as I hold it down, you know, then I can kind of select a brighter color, and I'm working over the areas that I see that have that same color. So I'm gonna select here, and I'm gonna kind of grab a little bit of gray, and again, I'm still working underneath my black layer, so I'm not affecting that, and I'm on top of some of my pink with some of this gray, right? So as you can see, I'm hitting all of these different areas. I think I'm gonna grab a dark, let's see if I can kind of grab a dark gray for the glasses right here, and I'm gonna go to my under layer, make sure, I think I'm gonna go under all of my pink, and I'm gonna start putting that in just to see what that looks like. Looks like I'm gonna have to come up a layer. Let's go up a layer, go over this layer and put some in like that. Get the bottom of those glasses darker. And I'm just gonna pull this out. See what I'm looking like? I'm gonna keep going dark underneath my beard now, right? Because we already put some shading there. Let's darken that area up. Still using the artistic crayon. I'm gonna switch to the soft pastel. I'm gonna push that size up. You see, a soft pastel is gonna go with a darker color here with the soft pastel. I want to make this beard a little darker. Something like, I guess like that. Let's do that. Yeah, that's gonna really be good. Darken that up some. Alright, I'm gonna pull the size down. Get all my shade areas. I kind of like getting my shaded areas already kind of darker with this. And go back in. That soft pastel kind of gives it an airbrushy type of feel behind there. You know, like a marker, like you hit it with a marker. I'm getting a little loose with it, you know, but it's all good. It's looking cool. And a lot of times, you know, I'll even put a little dark around areas that I know I'm gonna put some highlights over, like the side of this collar right here. Get that. Get behind the nostrils and the mustache, and in this little area of the mouth. We want to make that, you know, really give it an appear. That's some shadow going on there. And let's just hit right around the brim of this hat. Like I said, we're gonna make a light. We're gonna put some highlight in that. So let's make it darker, right? I'm gonna work right over that with some of this pink, you know, so I can kind of tighten my lines up. Still filling in areas, you know, a little bit too much there. I want to fill in the rest of this hat, the top there. It's gonna be really dope. You know, when we go to the surprise layer, you're gonna see how it kind of transforms. But again, I'm liking everything I got going on here, so I'm gonna put a little pink in this chain. It's kind of gray, right? It's kind of gray, like a bluish gray. I think we should, you know, let's go over that. I'm just gonna go over it with this kind of bluish gray. Actually, I'm gonna go one to a lower level on that one, so I can keep my shading on the top. And I'm just hitting it, just going in quickly. Going in, going in, going in. Alright. And there's like some blue in here. And so I want to get a little bit of that blue. And I'm gonna go to my oil pastel. Make it a little small. Oh, we need to go a layer up. Alright. So we can get on top of that color. Some blue. It's not dark as I want it, so actually I'm gonna grab kind of like a indigo. There we go. I'll sprinkle that indigo in there. It kind of gives it, you know, a cool looking feel. Put a little bit of blue in this beard too. I like the way that's, you know, I think I'm gonna go darker though. Go kind of purple. There's a lot of purple in here, you know, complement that red. So I'm gonna use that kind of purple to offset all this pink. I'm gonna go back in. Erase that. I'm gonna go back in over the glasses with this dark color. Really give those some more depth. And behind my shadows toward the bottom here. Alright. So this is looking dope right now. Let's go in. I'm gonna get a real bright pink for some highlights. And I'm gonna use my, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna use my 6B. Kind of hit this with some purplish pink kind of highlights around it, around the side of the head. You know, let's put a little bit of that in the chain because I think that gives it more, a little cool little quality to it. Now we gotta go down all the way to our bottom layer. I'm gonna do a dark gray shirt, and I'm gonna use again my oil pastel to kind of hit this up. Get all behind here. We're gonna just kind of make this like a dark gray on the bottom of his shirt here. Wrap that around his finger so you can just get that. It can kind of come out a little bit, you know, from the edges. And now I want to take the actual gray of the shirt and I'm gonna throw that on top. You know what I mean? See a little bit of that on the top. Okay, and I think we got it at a pretty good stage to move on to the next stage. Let's grab some of this purple. I'm gonna put that in his cheeks. It's kind of purple color. Make sure we got everything. And you just see where we filled in and what we didn't. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do here is I want to see what my underlayer looks like. I'm gonna bring this up. It's gonna bump this up to about 75%. Now we bumped that up to 75%, and the next step is one of my funnest steps. I go to the first layer and we need to erase everything that is outside of the face. So I'm gonna turn this all the way up. And I promise you on the next one, you know, I'll do like a 30 layer or something like that, but we had to work within the parameters of 7 layers this time, you know, because this is my first effort, man, you know what I mean? And I missed some steps on y'all already, but it's all good. We still vibing, right? You know, so what I'm doing is I'm taking 100% eraser and I'm bringing it to all of my edges. I'm actually going beyond some of my edges to show some of my brush strokes in certain areas, but the idea is to kind of get all of the white around the edge, our black line. And it looks like I kind of messed up there. I want to take it right to the edge, and you're gonna start seeing, you know, you're gonna start to get a better idea of what the piece is looking like, right? Looks like I got a mark there that I need to erase, but as I start to take this out again, we're using our underdrawing as a base with a lower opacity. And you know, you can depending upon how good your drawing is, you know what I'm saying, you can more or less adjust the opacity and bring in more of what you want or less of what you want, you know what I mean? Because this is a digital drawing, right? So you kind of doing the digital cheat code on this one to get something done within an hour. Say you want to do an illustration for a client, or you know, last year I ended up doing 200 illustrations for a festival, man, and it was an arduous process. So boom, you know, but this method definitely got me through it right here. I'm seeing that there's dark in between the glasses. Before I do anything else, I want to go back to that, my top layer, black, select black, and I think I'm gonna hit that with my soft pastel, a little bit of black right here. Yep, because we want to make sure the shadow is there, and a little bit over the glasses. Make some of my darker areas darker. I think I need to get in this beard a little bit, you know what I mean, to give it more vibe. And then our strokes, some of our lines are starting to come out of that in a cool way. You know, the edges of that is coming out in a really cool way. You know what I'm saying? So look, now what I want to show you guys is we need to put something behind this to really tie it together. Let me first remove that. Let me see what layer this is on. I gotta remove this little that's not it. Oh, there it goes. So we're gonna remove that. So what I like to do to texturize this, right, and even give it more of a vibe, is I like to insert a textured color paper underneath this. You know what I'm saying? You know, for the textured color paper, you know, you want to find, you know, something with some color in it or whatever. I'm just gonna grab something real quick. Let's go to my albums. I keep a folder of paper textures or paper backgrounds, and I tend to use I'm gonna import this and show you guys. Like, I tend to use oh, you know what, I'm gonna have to lose one of my black layers real quick to insert this, but it's all good. I'm gonna grab that again. Hold on a second. My albums here. I keep a folder of paper textures, right? Let me see here. This is pretty cool. This will work because it gives your, you know, it kind of gives the artwork a little bit more of a vibe, right? So if I put that paper texture on here, we're gonna do that first layer with our photo on it. We're gonna change that. We're gonna multiply that layer. All right. So when we multiply that layer, it now is gonna sit into the paper a lot better, right? And then as we bump up the opacity, I'm gonna bring the opacity of that up to, you know, let's go with like maybe 80 right now, 81, something, 80 in that world. And I'm gonna multiply my black layer. Of course, I couldn't put 2 layers on a shorter layer, but I'm just gonna go through some of my layers and I'm gonna multiply them and see, you know, how they blend, how well they blend into the paper. This layer in particular, you know, this is a lot of our color in this layer. So I'm gonna bust that down a little bit. And oh man, this is looking dope. Let me see. That our bottom layer, I think we got to keep it a little bit closer to 78%. We're there. And yeah, it's kind of like a more softer tone. I'm gonna look and see if I can darken our black by going through some of maybe I'll just do an overlay on that so the black is a little bit more prevalent for one layer. Let me just make sure that's what I want. Okay, I'm looking at the hand. I think I'm gonna just, let me see. I think I might just keep that as a multiplied layer. So now what we have, now we can go back in. I wanna, since I changed the colors, I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna see where I can add some more highlights. I think it's time to hit this with more white because we lost a little bit of that white, you know. Let me see here. There we go. And just switched up my layers and I put my top layer below my third layer here. I pushed it back a little bit and I'm gonna run that white on my top layer just for more highlights again. So like we did with the glasses, we're gonna go back over this stuff in the white. Yep. Hit a couple areas and then back to my chain, man. Let me switch this up. I'm gonna go to my soft pastel so I can cover a little ground more quickly here. Somehow I switched off there. Let me go all the way white. And now, you know, some of the muddy areas, man, I might hit it with this white just to kind of bring it out, you know, around the edges. We want all of the edges of the jewelry to sit next to the black real good so it pops, you know what I mean? And again, like if I were to do more layers, you know, if I were to took this to maybe 20 layers or so, you know, I could then stack a lot of this stuff. And now I'm just gonna go in with the white, man. I'm gonna hit around the mouth. I'm gonna hit, you know, some areas right here to kind of give him some more definition against that, kind of against the beard here. And we kind of got like it's kind of blown out a little bit on the hat, you know what I'm saying, in the hair. So I'm gonna go in with some white and red and make that fresh. Remember, we had something on top of the hat, so I can just kind of improvise there. And we want to see the edge of the brim, you know, kind of find its way against the against some of those darker colors. I'm just gonna go in with white, man, around the sleeves. Around the collar. You know what I mean? And look on the hand here, we can add a lot of white, you know, and kind of bring that out. And I'm gonna just be loose with it, you know, make a couple little brush strokes and lines. And you know, when I get to this area, this, you know, part of the illustration, I kind of start throwing in little tags, a little, you know, put some stars in here and different things like that. Now, what I want to do is I use a lot of spray can brushes. I'm gonna have to give you guys some links to some of these spray nib brushes, and I like to, you know, give it a painterly feel by throwing in, you know, aerosol you know, little aerosol hits and things like that, right? And generally, you know, I would do these and I would put them on their individual layer, and you know, you can manipulate the sizes and everything like that, you know what I mean? But for the sake of time, I'm just going with some smaller ones for this one, you know, because the size I got here kind of give some shine and some elements of spec to some of the jewelry, you know what I mean? I like to use that little parts. Give it some small little drips and using different parts of the face. And again, let me just I'm gonna hit some of these lines around the mouth. You know, bring that out a little bit. Yeah, there you go. And you can see you still have a lot of underdrawing here, man. You still, I mean, a lot of the painting here, once you bring it up a little bit, so you want to go over all of that. You want to go over all of that with some color. You know, you want to color it all in like a color in a book, because you really, it's not about really seeing or reading the under image. It's just about you creating layers upon layers of imagery on top of it, right? I'm gonna come down here at the bottom. I'm gonna put a little bit of that paint. That's kind of cool to finish out the shirt there. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'll even go as far as just kind of like putting some tags and different things and information. You know, get a little fill in right there. You know what I mean? On the face, right? Why not? In the background. And for the sake of ending this one off, you know, I'm gonna just show y'all how I kind of close these out. I'm gonna take the watercolor brush, and since this is primarily purple, I want to get this on a layer that I can multiply as well. So I'm gonna multiply this layer, I think, and we're gonna put a little watercolor, multiply watercolor around the edge here. You know what I'm saying? Just around the edge, bring them out a little bit more, you know. And a couple little drips at the bottom, and bam, you know. I think we got a decent, you know, a decent representation of our image, you know, with this first one, man. So you can always go back in. Like I said, I apologize, I only had the 7 layers on this one, but I'll show you how to stack and add and, you know, continue to bring more depth, compare it actually to our sketch, to our original image. And you can continue, you know what, the one last little highlight here I'm looking at on the glasses. Just a little ghost mist right there. Put one right there, man. Yeah, and let's get a little highlight, a little bit more right there, kind of in the mouth. Let's see, I'm gonna go a little smaller. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, we'll get more in depth, you know what I mean? Lose that one. We'll get more in depth on the next mission, and I'll strike a bunch of layers for you, man. But basically, this is kind of, you know, this is how I put these together, you know what I mean? So here we got our image, you know, it's got a nice like here, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong side, there you go. Yeah, our image, it has like a real painterly feel to it, you know what I mean? It's like some areas that I see that are a little darker now. I look at it here, maybe around the eye, but it's stylized. So I would just go back in and refine it, basically looking at the photo. But my first joint, you know what I mean, showing you guys how I put these together. And got Conway The Machine. I'm gonna post that one up, man. Next time we'll do a more in depth and good looking out, man. Finally got the set going, you know what I mean? It's a trip, man. It's a good accomplishment, man. So I'm glad y'all are witness that. Peace.